You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming. It's Savino Man on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Heroes Advent, Alex's Path. So y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. Oh. Huh. 1 second, y'all. The partner's trying to find the watch. Somewhere. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Alrighty. Anyway. For a brief moment, Alyssa remained silent before the guardian crystal as she gazed upon it. As she turned around and spoke, however, her voice was clear and resounding as can be. Oh, wow, she's pretty. Beautiful outfit for her. Citizens of Crystal Coast, though we may come from all walks of life, from the zenith of the mountains to the depths of the seas, we come together today for a common concern, the well-being of our kith and kin against this encroaching blight. These are dark times, and while my fellow sages and our champions may be heroes, we expect not the same duties from you. If it is your lives you wish to safeguard, then please, seek refuge. Carry on the Maker's legacy. Let not your pure souls be corrupted. If you wish to depart, then go with the wind. Scatter like dandelions. Carry on this message. Carry on our people. And for those who wish to stay, stalwart as the mighty pine, you shall remain here to maintain their shelter for those who might return. Flores florent et solis ortus illuminat ubicumque terrarum itis. For ordinem semper concilium et prosperitas aeterna invenitus. Ubi concordia ibi victoria. Itacdum inter homines sumus columnus humanitatem. Ordine e prosperita. Oh God, Jesus. Ordine e prosperita. Soon afterwards, the crowd dispersed as almost everybody returned to their places. Your team was about to leave as well when you noticed 2 of Alyssa's escorts approaching Max, whispering to him about something as he stepped away from the group. When he returned, he said that Alyssa had asked them all to speak to her in private at the inner park sanctum. In private? But isn't this a public place? Don't worry about that. These guards will lead us to her. Come on, team, let's vacate the premises. Do we really have to? I'd rather check back at the tavern for a bit. Come on, Cody. It's not every day you get to meet Lady Spring. And if it's a chance to convene with her, I'll take it. Let's go, guys. Time's a-wasting. Well, I can always count on Al to boss people around when it's something he's really invested in. I mean, I'd love to ask for her remarks on what we discovered about the soil, that's all. Well, be on your best behaviors, guys. We're gonna meet Lady Spring after all. Yeah! Before you moved along, you overheard a group of Why is a group of civilians underlined like that? That's weird. A group of civilians talking amongst themselves. They, however, didn't seem too pleased with what Alyssa had to say. You then joined along with the guards to clear people out of the place. Afterwards, all of them stood guard both in the inner and outer rings of Vitram Park. Max then led the team towards the inner sanctum close to the Guardian Crystal, which Alex took you to before. The Guardians then asked the rest of the group to stay outside while you were escorted in alone. Requesting your audience, Lady Spring. Granted. And what do you require this time around? We're here with the person you requested, milady. Thank you. If you may grant us some privacy, I would be grateful as well. Understood, milady. You glanced at the guards as they promptly moved further away from the inner sanctum, bringing the group along as well. Poor Alex seemed rather taken aback that he had to leave with the others for now. Soon enough, it was quiet again, and with just you and Alyssa near the Guardian Crystal. I apologize. It must seem peculiar to you that I'd ask everyone to leave just as they'd gathered around to welcome me back. Truth be told, I was rather overwhelmed. So many thoughts and emotions the people of Crystal Coast had harbored for me over the years. But I had to smile on, lest the last bastion of our people's courage faltered. Is this why you chose to live in the forest? 1 second, y'all. It is water time. This one is empty. There we go. Wonderful. Precisely so. And before you could say much else, Alyssa already pulled you in for a hug, before eventually letting go after a while. Oh, Cassian, I've missed you. How have you been, dear? Has the city been treating you well? I'm doing all right, Alyssa. The city and the guild has been welcoming to me, and it's really nice to see you again, ma'am. Thank you again for taking care of me, even in my dreams. I'm glad that you still knew it was me, even though the distance has messed up your memories in your dream, no doubt. And it's very relieving to see you're still doing well. You mind going for a walk with me then? I can tell you have a lot of questions to be answered. Yes, ma'am. As you followed Alyssa along the inner sanctum, you couldn't help keeping a keen eye on her garment. It was intricate and elegant, yet somehow felt familiar to you. Is something wrong, child? Oh, nothing. It's just you look very different this time. She only chuckled softly as you gestured to her outfit. Oh, I'm still the same Alyssa you knew, dear. You know, dear. And truth be told, I'd much rather wear what I usually would back at home. But alas, we all have an image to keep up amongst others, haven't we? So they say, yeah. And I agree, I prefer simple clothing as well. So I guess this new uniform that Max and the others go for me suits me pretty well. Indeed. You look quite dashing in those, dear. Thank you, ma'am. Actually, that reminds me. I should return the clothes that you lent me from before. There's no need for that. I gave it to you, so it's rightfully yours. Just remember to keep it well. That's all I ask for you. That's all I ask of you. Yeah, I'll keep it safe. Thank you again, Alyssa. You're welcome. Now, what is it that you would like to know? I will answer to the best of my abilities. Well, why am I here? Why am I here, Alyssa? Why me of all the people that could be brought here? What is the purpose in me in me being the hero? Well, you're here because it is as the prophecy had foretold. In other words, fate has ordained that you are the one to vanquish the evil king. I didn't ask for any of this. That being said, however, this does not mean everything is already set in stone, Cassian. What do you mean by that? Prophecies are, in essence, just another means. Long have people used divination to seek guidance throughout their lives. How could they actually live their lives and shape that path towards their destination, however, is entirely up to them. So while it might say that you'd be the one to put all this to rest, the prophecy does not specify how. That's why you can take your time. That's why you can take your time, Cassian. Do it at your own pace, in your own way. I'm sure you'll come up with something of your own accord. Huh, I guess I never thought of it that way. But still, isn't the situation pretty urgent? I don't think I can just mosey along forever. I suppose your concern is not unfounded. Worry not. We'll have a talk with your friends after we're done here. Perhaps we can figure out something together. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Thanks, Alyssa. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Once you've found the purpose of your journey, everything else will become clear as day to you. But how you reach that point is the question. I, too, am quite curious of how you intend to do so. Well, anything else you'd like to ask, Cassian? What are my powers? So, what exactly are my powers? At first, I thought I couldn't use magic like the others, but when Alex made me touch the guardian crystal there, Alyssa looked to the GC as you gestured towards it. I got zapped, which he said wasn't supposed to happen. Were you hurt? Thankfully, no. I just got zapped really bad, which I think Alex called system shock or something. But afterwards, he suddenly found out that I could use magic now, which, admittedly, I did hurt myself trying to use. I see. Thankfully, you are still here with us. What did your friend Alex make of this discovery? Well, he said my element was ether. Did I say that right? Yes, ether is indeed an element, although not in the sense that you may believe. So, if it's an actual element, does it mean I can use ether magic then? 1 second, y'all. Water time. Yes, you could, yes. If that element actually existed to begin with. Huh? Alyssa, I don't understand. Didn't you say it was a real element? An actual hypothetical element. You see, Cassian, in our field of study, one does not simply discard nor disregard the unknown and unseen. The existence of the nether element implies the existence of its antithesis, which so far has been named ether. Alas, without any observable nor tangible evidence, this element will yet remain a hypothesized one, so it's basically dark matter. I see. So, what does that make me, then? Well, the conclusion that Alex had arrived at is close, but not quite. He was correct in deducing that your element is none of the common ones, but rather what we sages call the null element. Null? What does that mean? I mean, I know what the word means, but that doesn't make any sense. If my element was null, then how could I use any magic at all? It'd be empty, right? In a sense, you're correct. But think of it this way, Cassian. Your body is akin to a prism. For most others, their prism is tuned to only let certain types of lights pass through. But null prisms are different. They are empty, possessing not on their own. And instead of letting one single element pass through, yours can adapt to whichever the inbound energy is, making it your own. That sounds powerful. But how did that happen? Perhaps it is indeed because you touched the Guardian Crystal. When I first made the blueprint for it, I had the Nether's antithesis element in mind. And while it never truly materialized more than just an opposite force, it was enough to not only ward off, but also disperse any traces of Nether within the barrier. Huh, does that mean the Guardian Crystal runs on ether still? Hypothetically, I suppose. I would say it is merely an approximation. As I've said, the element has never once materialized in this world, even if there exists a force able to neutralize the Nether element. Thus, by combining various types of crystals, we could achieve a frequency of the force I just described. And the fact that it reacted to your touch means it still functions optimally even after several decades. Yeah, it's really powerful, but after the recent events, I'm not so sure about that anymore. So I've heard. Though, trouble yourself not, dear. Your friend was diligent enough to keep a close eye on the crystal. And now that I'm here as well, we can see that we can see to that barrier. We can see too that the barrier remains strong to protect Crystal Coast. You're right. I hope the Guardian Crystal is safe for good this time. But one more thing, Alyssa. Alex said that some people can channel power through the crystal, but it's not recommended. What does he mean by that? It's a safety precaution, Cassian, because the reaction varies greatly depending on the person touching it. If they cannot possess any elements, they cannot resonate with the crystal, thus nothing will happen when they touch it. But others who do might suffer a shock greater than what you went through. For that reason, one should not risk it by tempting fate. I see. Also, there is another reason why I decided to vacate this courtyard, not just for my own peace of mind, but also for your good as well. For my good as well? Mm-hmm. You possess a sensitive heart, Cassian. As much as it wouldn't take much for you to resonate with someone else's thoughts and feelings. Because of that, it would be best for you to be here, just with a few people we can speak to. Worry not, your friends will soon join us as well. Oh, okay, I see. Well, do you have anything else you would like to ask, Cassian? Am I doing the right thing? They did a good job. They did a really good job designing her outfit. It looks great. She really does look like a forest witch. Or a much cheerier spring forest witch. Okay, anyway. Have I been doing the right thing? What do you mean by that, Cassian? Well, even though you just said that I'm free to choose my own path, I still don't know, or maybe won't know if what I picked was the right one or not. What if one day I'd have to hurt someone or even kill them? Second, y'all. Alright, last 2 minutes, let's make it count. Would that sit right with you? For me, I don't think I could stomach that, not even in the name of justice. I'm afraid there is no path without bloodshed, Cassian. That is the less than desirable reality of this world. To be fair, it's not so different with my world either. I see. Then that solidifies the notion that there can be no world devoid of violence and bloodshed. Chin up, Cassian. Your heart is kind. To still concern yourself with the well-being of others. Alyssa said as she gently lifted your chin. But sometimes what needs to be done has to be done. Should you face a dilemma as you described, try to follow what your heart says to be right. If it's not, try to seek another resolution. Perhaps you also need to remember that there will always be two sides to every story. Even if we believe ourselves to be righteous in what we do, some may still view us as evil, and vice versa. Even the king is not exempt from this. There must have been a reason for him to become what he is today. So if I understand this right, you're saying that the right thing to do is to see the whole picture, and if I don't think it's right, I should at least try to find the reason why? In essence, yes. That is a simple way to put it. But bear in mind, Cassian, some people or some things simply cannot be reasoned with. If it ever comes to that, you may have to put the good of the many before the suffering of the few. It's by no means an easy decision. My fellow sages and I had... Oh, she's a sage, okay. And I have had many an argument over what people would deem necessary evil. It's a burden that some has to bear. But I trust that you can come to your own resolution in time. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you for your wisdom. I will try to keep this in mind. You're welcome, dear. Ah, lest I forget. Now that you can do magic, Cassian, someone must have given you an elemental crystal. Oh, yeah, you're right. I do have that with me. May I see it, then? Of course. You promptly took the crystal out and handed it to Alyssa as she briefly inspected it. Fascinating. This bears the handiwork of Alex, is it not? Alexander Piratus Aegis. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks. Your tip if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.